Do you happen to know where Jubilee headquarters is?
I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend.
but where's Jubilee headquarters though?
I have a boyfriend. Thank you. Okay, yeah, you can go. Thank you.
Today might not be the day. The bench is cold, the kind that reminds you you're still here, even when the plan isn't. People pass, faces blurring into a smear of errands and notifications. Somewhere inside that stream is the meeting I've been chasing. Mr. Jubilee, somewhere, not here, not yet. The bench holds my weight, and the moment holds its silence. Today might not be the day, but days are just containers. You fill them or you don't. I didn't know this time. I won't give up. I have a plan, just like how Harry taught me.
3 hours later. Hello, Mr. Jubilee. Thank you for making me wait. I really want to thank you for taking this opportunity and talking to me because I think there's something valuable in dissecting and having a critical discussion on how you've progressed from just being a person who was kind and wanting to spread kind values to platforming fascists.
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Now, let's start with your first YouTube video, 100 for Haiti. At the time, you were called the Jubilee Project. And it's commendable. You wanted to raise money for a cause you believed in and spreading the message to really help people in need. And I think that has some core values that really want to highlight going forward, especially since your company now is really not reflecting how you started.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's me, Jason, and I'm very excited because we're about to head out and begin the Jubilee Project, my 100 for Haiti. With this particular project, I'm going to be going to a New York subway station and playing while singing and trying to raise money for Haiti.
After that video, you really blew up. I'm gonna give you credit. You managed to get Ryan Higa to answer an interview at the time when he was really popular. Oh my lord.
One thing about the world, well, obviously world peace.
And then you started popping off with your short film era, with titles such as Dear Daniel, The Mixtapes, Lost for Words, You Are More, and many more. I really want to highlight the short film you made called The Mixtapes.
넌 아직 고생이 뭔지 몰라. I don't care. Anything's better than your life.
야, 너 아빠한테 말버릇이 그게 뭐야? 네 아빠가 너를 위해 뭘 고생하셨는 줄 알아?
What has he done for me? What? 넌 내가 죽는 한이 있더라도 꼭 대학엔 보낸다. You can't tell me what to do. This is bullshit. I'm out of here.
To give you a summary about what The Mixtapes is about, it's basically a movie about immigrant parents having a fight with their child, and the child leaves from home with his girlfriend and discovers these mixtapes that his immigrant parents made.
Why don't you just play it?
After listening to these mixtapes, he realizes how much his parents have sacrificed and how much they fought for him to have a life.
정말 미안해. 내가 그런 말 해서. 난 당신과 보를 내 자신보다 더 사랑해. 내 꿈보다 더. 기억해? 내가 옛날에 약속했잖아.
After listening to those mixtapes, he goes back to his family-owned laundromat and he makes up with his family to have a perfect, happy ending. I want to highlight the mixtapes because there's an idea of whimsicalness that goes into this notion of empathy that Mr. Jubilee then uses later in his career. This happy ending that immigrant parents with their child can make up at the very end. And I want to go and give a different perspective.
Ethnic kids live at home and they pay rent through their mental health.
Wow.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
It's true.
But it's true.
It is true.
Yeah, it's so true.
The day I moved out, it's like, it's just this weight I've lifted it off.
You actually also have to have separation with your parents to have a better relationship. The lecturing, the constant just watching over you.
It's tough being an Asian kid.
As an audience member watching a movie, I've always felt that the movies that have whimsical endings at the end are so boring. And why I say that is because where's the struggle? Is the struggle at having a fight with your parents and then making up at the end? There's a part of privilege there that is lacking of a real definitive core movement forward. And maybe that's Mr. Jubilee's life. Maybe Mr. Jubilee had a lot of privilege, especially having parents that understood or had the willingness to accept an apology or to move forward from something. But not everyone has that with their parents.
I think part of the mental tax that you pay is that your self-discovery can be limited because you're under all these rules. And if you're living at home as an adult, it does. Like, looking back, I can see how it limited me because you're probably not being treated like an adult. And not being treated like an adult leads to people being adult babies. You know, treating people like children until they get married, in my opinion, is a horrible strategy because you just raise like really immature, incompetent children. That's really harsh. I don't think that about myself.
I'm not saying it's not important to show the whimsical happy endings. I'm just saying it's very important, especially as a movie maker, to show these privileges. As a big audience will see your movies, and maybe they relate to it, but you have the avenue to say so much more, about the privilege that every person has. I think it shows there the whimsicalness of the American dream, and what leads to certain values that later down the line become profit-heavy in Mr. Jubilee's life.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Mehdi.
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind my asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here.
It hurts me also to see mixtapes and also see you platform people who are actively against people who have legally and are factually immigrants in the United States, but platform them and platform their hate against your guests on your shows right now.
It's about tribal warfare. Okay. That's where we're at in the US. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really...
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so...
I'm an American citizen.
You have your own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that, but okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here, okay?
But you're
a little different
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants. Settlers.
No.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
colonials. You don't look
yeah.
very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you talking about?
You're not.
What are you talking about? Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
what was happening before the...
It's very saddening, Mr. Jubilee. Do a thought experiment with me. Put your parents in the seat of the person who is getting filmed by the camera and being ridiculed that they aren't an actual immigrant in the United States. Film it for others to see. Be in a room with 20 others who say the exact same thing. Would you feel good about your parents? Would you feel good how your parents feel? Put yourself in the shoes of your parents when you try to do it to others, especially since you know the struggles, how you've shown in mixtapes.
You know, but I want to take this opportunity, because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again, to say, you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember what I said? The agitation from you is not going to be lower.
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
After your short film era, you really diversified your content, and I really want to highlight this beginning of Jubilee-esque asking questions and also receiving answers.
So the question is, what would the world look like without black people?
Whoa. That's a hard question.
Oh, wow.
How black people?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't be here.
I mean, we wouldn't have a president.
It would look all white.
World without black people. This is such a deep philosophical question. It makes white liberals shed a tear since they know so much about black people's issues. I have to ask, when you were asking people on the street about a world with black people, it seemed like they were a certain ideology. It didn't seem like you went up to KKK members or neo-Nazis and asked, how would there be a world without black people? How would you feel?
Everyone loves black culture.
Yes,
they love black culture, but when it comes to black people, they're kind of, let me grab my kid, let me touch my purse a little tighter.
Yeah.
Growing up, there was a white kid who told me that he didn't want to play with me because my skin was dirty. And I came home and I told my mom, Mom, wash my skin so I could play with all the other kids.
I really want to show that at that time, Jubilee had a really deep critical thinking because they didn't platform KKK members to give their opinions on a world without black people.
Do you feel like you have racist thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's in me.
It's important because they had critical thinking then, but now they think it's a good idea. Something shifted. Profit, greed.
I do work with a lot of young black men. I mean, these young men are beautiful in every sense of the way. I think when I work with them, it's emotional because the way that I experience them is completely different than the way that people portray them.
I want to highlight that this video also had success, gaining 2 million views. So it was still whimsical because there were still people saying very deeply profound things that how truly the world would look without black people, but with a sincere approach, with empathy, with actual care, with people who didn't despise black people. From people who understood systemic struggle that black people had to endure in the United States. It seems that the people who were answering those questions knew that.
Jubilee Project is now Jubilee Media. We're back with the same heart for doing good and living for something greater, but now we're going to be doing it as a for-profit startup.
Jubilee rebranded from Jubilee Project to Jubilee Media. And in this rebranding, they started making other topics, like Both Sides, where they would get a couple and they would put just headphones on one couple and the other person would say how they met, what they think of the other person, how much they love them. Very whimsical-esque content.
Going through a hard time with a breakup just like he was, and to be seen for who I really was and what makes me unique, and to not be judged, to not care, just to like spending time with me and want to be with me. It meant a lot, and it does to this day. It definitely means a lot to me.
Is that Jake from State Farm?
Good neighbor. Like a good neighbor. Stand-ins don't have lines. Oh, okay.
100 Humans was another YouTube-esque whimsical showcase, kind of like A World Without Black People, but now making it much more whimsical around the world.
So if you were to die today, what is the one thing that you would most regret not having told someone?
This basically showcased people's answers to a question that was very deep.
I'm worried that they will feel good and it will make them feel like, it will make them feel appreciated, and then I'm worried that I'll let them down. It's messed up, but I guess in my mind, if I keep the level manageable, then I don't risk hurting them in the long run.
Basically what Hunter Prosper is now using as content, Jubilee did back then.
What was the name of your first love, and why did you fall in love with her?
Her name's Eve.
How long did you and Eve go out?
All 4 years of college.
Did you ask her out?
No, she asked me. I was dying for her to ask me. I was too shy.
You were making genuinely good content, Mr. Jubilee, back then. You were incorporating different perspectives, but also managing not to bring hateful people, but keeping this whimsicalness and talking to an audience, and you saw that there could be great change within the messages people have of different perspectives.
President Trump is increasing the number of immigration enforcement officers who conduct deportations.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems.
I really want to bring to your attention that Jubilee, at the time, when making these videos, also had a video called Mexican Immigrant Fights for Her American Dream. Now, to me, this sounds quite liberal leaning to at least the categorizations of certain guests that you've had platformed on your media and certain things you've said in different podcasts as well, not to lean left, not to lean right. But I would imagine immigrant rights is a topic that can lean either left or right, especially since you've had guests who say such things.
What
is your ultimate ideology? Like, what values ultimately does Jubilee stand for? And sort of like, what is the ultimate goal with this project politically or not? Like, what, you know, you said that you started it in reaction to Donald Trump, right? So I feel like...
to be clear, actually, I started it in a reaction to that election, not Donald Trump. It was actually that I saw huge polarization on both sides. So I think it's really important just to clarify, even though there's, you know, a lot of young people are very liberal and feel a certain sort of way towards Donald Trump, we were also seeing at the time a tremendous sentiment against Hillary Clinton it was very jarring for me.
This is completely shocking to see, as this was 7 years ago, around the time where Trump and Hillary Clinton were fighting for presidency. It's interesting how you were spotlighting stories like this then, but now when immigrant rights are very important, you don't spotlight stories like this anymore. It was profitable then, but it isn't profitable now. I'd assume you don't showcase these because they're not profitable now.
I'm coming here to study. I'm coming here to be a better person. How could you think I'm gonna be a bad person? This is how they view me. This is like I am a second citizen. I'm not even a citizen or a human for them. I'm just an alien.
I understand why you don't make videos like these anymore, because it got only 28,000 views. Compared to the other videos you make where you get millions of views.
But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like...
Bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Mexicans are not here just to be terrorists or to be whatever they call us. You know, we're here to work harder than most, to put a stamp in our life and to...
For you now, it's more profitable to conform to the status quo and to help the dominant forces, rather than portraying the perspective of lived experiences and bringing more attention on changing the certain circumstances of these lived experiences that are suppressing individuals, like you did 7 years ago.
I just see so many people, seriously, so many people that are so unfairly treated. It's not the people who do wrong, it's the people who watch the wrong and don't do anything. And I can't watch anymore. I have to do something.
It's now more profitable to shock and mock people rather than to help others to see that their perspective is platformed.
The bottom line is 4 years ago, you were all silent when 20 million people entered our country illegally. We know that there has been over 400,000 criminal migrants put into our country. We have to put America first. We warned all of you about this 4 years ago when you said the border was secure. And then you ran on that you would secure the border.
Their first middle ground video, atheists and Christians debate truth and belief.
I believe my life has worth and value.
To my mother. Yes, I would want people to think that they have worth and value, but I mean, we are all ants on a big ball.
We are all very important. The design and those things, if a man were to design it, it would cost several $1 million to make a human.
This is a complete different change of pace from their content at the time, but I really want to highlight the earlier variation that they created.
Father yelled at me that I was going to hell when I walked out. I'm sorry. I don't believe in a God that would believe that.
Yeah, that's not...
It's not, and that is objectively, I don't care. That's crazy.
These conversations, like, you know, if we have people who are just trying to drive their point through and almost converting it, it kind of shuts down conversation.
Exactly.
I want to know what you believe and why you don't.
They tried to make icebreakers. Can you guess what the first question was actually of this middle ground?
Pineapple belongs on pizza.
You gotta be kidding.
My wife will not have a pizza unless there's pineapple on it.
Most people, when asked to debate about issues, would probably say yes if there's money involved. But also, as soon as there will be pushback or confrontation, that's where defensiveness comes in. This is 100% worse if the person then starts using ad hominems or just saying something false.
Oh, because they're fat.
Boo-hoo, man. Like, there's way worse stuff going out in the world versus people saying, oh my God, I'm sad, I'm gonna eat some ice cream. It's like, no, dude, it's like, you're fat, you made that decision, you live in the best country ever. If you live in a civilized, first world country where you have electricity, internet power, etc., you deserve to be bullied. Wow.
You got the gift of life. You got the gift of being in a developed country, and you're a fat POS talking about body positivity on TikTok?
Y'all milk the hell out of this concept till today because it really went well with the algorithm.
Archetypal, strong black woman, in my experience, instead of being like, oh, like, that's awesome, you have a degree in this, you got this job, you did this. They're like, okay, big mama, you got money.
It works well to say blank versus blank. Neo-Nazis versus liberals.
That's my saying. I'm in America now. Everybody should speak English.
Whoa. is that a hot take? Damn, we gotta speak English in America.
Benjamin Netanyahu versus 20 Palestinians.
Can hit.
I disagree completely.
You like Burger King over McDonald's? That's your worst take, I think.
Absolutely.
That's a crazy take.
No, that was fine.
You might think that's a joke. Actually, I think that's something that they desire to do in the future, actually.
There's people with predatory behavior in every...
Excuse me,
we don't want it everywhere. We don't want it anywhere.
If I could say this, and
Exactly.
you'll
Yeah.
get mad at me, but if I could say this, it's not baked into their religion. There are 100...
Can Trump supporters and immigrants see eye to eye?
Guys, remember, this is a video about Trump and immigrants. We're mixing too much the religion,
Well, I think
the
when it
race.
comes with the
I
travel
know.
ban,
yes,
it
yes,
brings
yes,
in
but
the
you
religion.
shouldn't.
There's way too many variables that can go wrong, and we see that while watching the video.
You're saying you work so hard, and yet we work so hard too, to elect a president of the United States that we think will enforce the laws, will enforce the United States Constitution. And it wasn't to be racist, or it wasn't to boot you out of the country, and it was to enforce the First Amendment. It's actually to enforce your freedom of speech. I understand why you're scared, that as a white Trump supporter, I am scared of this presidency because I have lost my freedom of speech.
People will just say straight up problematic things, and either the other person doesn't know how to confront them, or the other person just doesn't have the knowledge to actively push back on ideas that are false, especially if they're going to use anecdotally false things that you cannot prove as an argument. You diversified your content a little bit more. Your very first video, 20 versus 1, speed dating, 20 guys.
I thought there would be maybe 4 guys left, but there were none. So today I learned that my criteria is not, I guess, easy as I thought it was. But I'm okay with that because I don't, like, these are values and things that I don't want to bend and change right now, so.
If your idea was to change her morals at the end of it, you really didn't change anything, because she even admits that she is going to stay even more confident how she felt even before doing your format. So I view what you kind of did as a clout chasing thing, and especially going for the trend of shock and awe with dating.
Being sexually unattracted to a race is racist.
Through the natural content brain progression, Spectrum formed, and I want to highlight the episode with their staff, including where the CEO, yourself, plays the game. I learned a lot about your mentality.
Yeah, Jason's the kind of guy who, like, you bring him a hot fudge sundae, and then he's gonna be like, oh wait, where's the cherry? It's like, we're not just gonna do a video about a couple. Like, we're gonna do a video where, like, they reveal really personal information, and they cry, and they're really photogenic, and they're ethnically diverse. And they're photogenic. And it's under 6 minutes long.
I really want to highlight this segment where one of your coworkers says that he empathizes with everybody in the world, and even Hitler's on that empathy list. And another coworker of yours says, oh yeah, I empathize with Hitler. And the immediate pushback of the person is like, whoa, 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 not like that.
For me, that's almost like, yes, we do give them empathy, but it's not like they deserve empathy because we need to understand them. But
yeah, but I guess I would say it's a human right. Like, it's a fundamental human right to receive empathy. Across the board. Hitler, he's on there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's fundamental.
Yeah. I think I can empathize, sure. I can empathize with Hitler, but I don't think
You don't
he
have to go
deserves,
that far.
I don't think he deserves empathy. I feel like there's a difference there, right?
Why? Why? And also, you said the exact same thing. You realize how much of a Silicon Valley brain squad you have when they really try to save themselves after saying exactly what another person repeats. You said you empathize with Hitler. Now, why would we have to say this? Now, why would we have to say this publicly? And also, why is this an idea that your organization has? Which deeply interests me of how you empathize with neo-Nazis.
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
How do you empathize with Hitler? I really want to understand how this happens because you never explain, neither you, neither your workers. I really want to understand what does it mean to have Hitler on your empathy list, especially since you say everyone's on your empathy list. I really want to understand what this means as you don't really explain it, but you keep saying it. So I'm just gonna have to piece it together as a critical thinker. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Jubilee doesn't have some sort of notion of empathy, but rather what I'm saying is that their notion of empathy is deeply flawed. To give an example, I think something that shows that's very clear-cut is in one of their videos, they even speculate on making a video Holocaust survivors versus Holocaust deniers. Remember that Netanyahu joke I made? Well, it really does seem like their mentality does point to that direction. Their empathy, in my opinion, is deeply flawed because it allows people with hateful dominant narratives to be platformed. And also, it allows them to scapegoat and say, well, I'm just using empathy, so what we're doing is just radical, and most people don't understand what we're doing. I think that is deeply misusing the word empathy, and I want to explain exactly what I believe is empathy and what we should strive to incorporate as empathy in the world. I want to take from Emmanuel Levinas's point on empathy to express one part of how I believe empathy to be. For Levinas, the face of the other, this being the other person, is not about what they do, so their actions, but about their sheer presence. It is a moral demand that arrives before judgment or understanding. He worries that when we say, I feel what you feel, classic empathy, we risk absorbing the other into our own categories. That collapse of difference can be dangerous because it assumes I can truly know them from the inside out. In that collapse, there's a risk of neutralizing their otherness, of making them into a version of myself, which erases their singularity. What I take away from what Emmanuel Levinas is saying specifically in this context is that empathy isn't supposed to be some sort of understanding of another person's actions, or trying to justify their actions, because you will truly not understand as you are not that person, and we differ completely from how the emotions we feel, from the justifications we make, from everything. Rather, it's that love, and it's that love for other human beings that empathy is. So it's very important that the love of other human beings doesn't get misconstrued in justifying actions of human beings. Empathy is not justification. This understanding of love as empathy actually comes on the second part from Bell Hooks, which she reframes empathy as part of love, a political ethic that includes care, knowledge, commitment, and justice. Engaged pedagogy, empathy is the classroom practice of mutual recognition that enables critical consciousness. It's radical because it refuses apathy and domination in the micro-political spaces, schools, families, that reproduce larger hierarchies. Empathy is not a megaphone for dominant narratives, but rather, empathy is the love and understanding that every single person has the right to exist and to not be judged for their existence. Jubilee calls themselves the Disney of empathy. They want to provoke understanding and create human connections.
In another interview a while ago, you said you wanted to create the Disney of empathy. Can you talk to me a little bit about how that's played out? For people that aren't familiar with your work, what happened after 2016, and what did you start to make your, name known for online?
Yeah, we said that we wanted to be the Disney of empathy, and what we meant by that was we wanted to be the brand or the hub for all things empathy. And our mission at Jubilee is to provoke understanding and create human connections.
Now, I really want to ask, This provoke understanding, who are you provoking to understand? And also creating human connection, it happens apparently in middle ground. And I really want to understand creating human connection between what? People who hate other people, people who genuinely are committing either hateful actions towards other people. Do we create human connection with them? Do we force them in the same room?
So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. You're kind
What
of
is an American national approach? Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach. Of course,
So only
absolutely.
Americans are white people.
Why did your parents
So
immigrate
Americans
from
are
India?
only white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's opportunity.
That's not true. You don't know.
The accent. Your accent is an affect of white Anglo-Saxon.
But you know there are 50 million Americans in this country who are immigrants.
I understand, but
none of them are Americans in your view.
What I'm trying to get you to do to reach a common ground here.
We're not going to reach a common ground because you said I'm not American.
Please try.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not American due to values.
I don't think you're not American on values either. I think you're a little fascisty, a little racisty.
There is no provoking understanding. There is no creating human connection. It's either just judgment, ridicule, shame, and people just reinforcing their already existing biases. And it's just clippable moments to make fun of others. For crying out loud, in the fat video, they say Nikocado avocado is a fat promoting model. What? And no fact checking exists. And there was a moderator there. Same dude who says he also has Hitler on his empathy list, by the way, because everybody deserves empathy.
I personally, again, I'm not super online, have not seen anybody pro-obesity ever. Lizzo.
Oh, there's a bunch, dude.
She loves herself.
Nikocado avocado.
They're gonna get so many more views if they just let random people just mock and make fun of and just shame others.
No, we need to bring shaming back. Okay. We need to bring shaming back in so many other regards besides obesity. We need to do it with sluts. We need to shame fat people. We need to shame everybody when they fuck up. Because shame has been one of the strongest defenses against degeneracy and human fuck-ups.
You had a personal experience you wanted to share. You said you used to be overweight.
So they have a Silicon Valley approach. They have an idea and then they test it within their staff.
As far as the formats, we actually employ very much like a Silicon Valley approach. So if you just think about how Silicon Valley startups really MVP products, that's the way we think about our content. So I might, or one of our brilliant creatives might have an idea for a show, but rather than just going and saying, hey, we're going to spend this money and doing it, what we'll do is we'll do like a series of incremental tests, or what we call MVPs, where we'll actually test the format with our own team.
Does your staff not incline to one way or the other? Is your staff full of centrists? Are your staff just everyone radical empathists? But also, what comes behind this radical empathy that you have so much of? Because you need to have some sort of moral compass that is dictating some decisions politically or also philosophically. Who are you going to platform?
What is the benefit to sort of finding the middle ground between those two views when one is sort of objectively correct and one is a sort of deeply problematic conspiracy theory?
Yeah, it's a really good question and something that we always make sure we check ourselves too. Are we making sure that we are doing more good than harm, right, in this space? What we realize is that for every single topic that will actually get some criticism as to why are you featuring X person. For example, like if we do a video that features hardcore conservatives, a lot of liberals will come out and say, why would you platform a conservative? But on the flip side, if we feature someone who is very, very liberal, we'll actually hear from a lot of conservative fans and say, why would you feature X person? And when we were kind of evaluating that, we said, is there a way for us to find empathy in the midst of all of these conversations? Even with something as far stretching as a conversation between a flat earther and a round earther, no matter what we might believe to be true, and I believe that the earth is round. I think it's scientifically proven.
But it's not really a belief, right? That is just like objective reality.
Y'all feature problematic figures and questions. How can y'all create empathy from this? How can you create empathy from showing the neo-Nazis? How can you create empathy from showing fascism publicly and also promoting this on your platform? And I mean by promoting it as you had a room of 20 people who were clapping when the fascists said they are fascists. So I just view it as at least platforming.
I think you could say, I'm a fascist. Yeah, I am.
Your way of empathy is platforming hate?
But I want to take this opportunity, because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again, to say, you're not American. First and foremost, but you're not.
Remember what I said? The agitation from you is not going to be lower.
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
I also have to ask, why do you have empathy as just showing someone's perspective rather than critically analyzing someone's perspective? Objectively, fascism is a hateful ideology.
It's a question that we've been asked about. Is it dangerous to platform or have certain voices or points of view on? And the way I would respond to that is, I feel like we live in a more dangerous world if two individuals are not able to sit in the same room together and have a conversation. It doesn't necessarily mean that conversation is going to be productive or that anyone is going to necessarily change their point of view, but I think that that is sorely missing. And it's kind of like a ludicrous idea if you think about the opposite, which is just because you and I both have, let's say, a red shirt on or a blue shirt on, that we will agree on 1,000 of the same issues, or if we have opposite colored shirts on, that we would disagree on 1,000 different issues. And I think it's like a more scary thought that we can't coexist in the same room.
If you want to be empathetic, at least in my opinion, you would showcase how that person kind of got into fascism. But you don't do that on your platform. What you do is you have them confident in their biases already, defending their ideology, which that is dangerous. Now, if you wanted to show how people go into Nazism and you wanted to then talk to those people and change their mind, hey, go ahead. But you don't do that. You showcase them. You platform them. You have them have a voice, and they're going to use that platform.
But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like...
Their fact-checking is very dubious.
But I guess, how do you sort of focus on building empathy with that person while still ensuring that it's very clear to the viewers that their belief system is fundamentally incorrect?
Yeah, something that we had to start to introduce just to kind of combat this idea of like spreading misinformation was we actually have incorporated now like fact checks within our content, and you'll see it kind of pop up in middle ground and we're seeing this on every which way, right? That individuals on whatever side of whatever issue will kind of like share some information. We don't want to like spread that. And that's one of the reasons we also rely a lot on anecdotal experiences too.
I thought it was very weird that they just kind of let them just continue saying whatever they wanted to say and then fact check them in post. That's usually not how fact checking should happen, and it should happen then.
As a matter of fact, all U.S. Air Force photography prior to 1958 shows a flat Earth. Only NASA shows us fair. That's absolutely not true, Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the other
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
The other bit of proof
not myself.
Is we have a laser retroreflector on the moon.
Yeah. That we're using now.
We still use to this day.
It's sitting there.
You can find to the inch how far away the moon is.
No pictures of home.
You have this conception that hate from both sides means that you're doing something right.
Guess there's one thing that you said in your in another recent interview where you said if we get equal amounts of canceling from both sides, that's great. It means we've done it in a way that doesn't seem biased. This is something I hear all the time in traditional journalism as well, where it's this idea, well, if we're getting hate from both sides, we're doing something right. Do you think that that's really true? Very often, for instance, specific marginalized communities are rightfully outraged, right, at bad coverage, whereas the right, as we know, especially the far right, really is able to launder a lot of extremism through manufactured outrage campaigns. So how do you kind of navigate between those two? Because we know that that idea has been used to justify really bad news coverage, right? So how do you kind of navigate that?
What is the dominant hating force? Does this group of people usually have the dominant narrative of hate? These are questions that Jubilee do not ask themselves at all.
Something that we're really excited about.
But isn't this idea of this neutral middle ground between, I guess, hyper-progressivism and fascism kind of terrifying? I'm with you, right? I think we can all agree on a lot more than probably our political media ecosystem gives us credit for. And of course, there's debates that, you can reasonably debate policy issues on many sides, right? We all have maybe more conservative views on some issues, more progressive views on others. But for instance, something like trans rights, right? That's a good example. Trans people deserve rights, right? So how do you kind of navigate those? it seems like a lot of issues, there's not a moral middle ground.
Yeah, maybe we can go back to like what I would call our theory of change.
When the dominant narrative is what is leading your video, you are not creating change. You're simply going with the status quo, providing no critical thinking, no critical analysis, and no respect for history and how it's progressed.
What values ultimately does Jubilee stand for? And sort of like, what is the ultimate goal with this project politically or not? Like what, you said that you started it in reaction to Donald Trump, right? So I feel like...
to be clear, actually, I started in a reaction to that election, not Donald Trump. It was actually that I saw huge polarization on both sides.
He said at the time, nobody really understood why someone voted for Trump or voted for Hillary Clinton. But I have to ask, how does he provoke this understanding by featuring fascists on his YouTube channel?
I think you could say, I'm a fascist. Yeah, I am.
He says he worked for the Obama campaign in 2007, which it was when Obama was running for senator in New Hampshire.
Just to back up even further, my background was I actually worked on the Obama campaign in 2007. So I was part of the New Hampshire primary when he was running as Senator Obama at the time against Hillary Clinton, right?
No online record about this, to my knowledge, researching. Y'all can find something. I didn't find anything about this.
Are there any videos that you've wanted to do and haven't been able to do? Any topics that you've really wanted to cover but ultimately decided not to cover or haven't been able to?
We actually at one point were talking with some of the political campaigns about featuring candidates in our content. And it's something that we are very, very interested in doing. And the reason is because I think when we watch things like the presidential election debate, for example, a lot of young people in particular are tuning out because they feel like it's so rote, it's very scripted, it's all very, very kind of practiced lines, and people are even questioning the moderation of it, right? The fact checking of it. It's biased. And both sides, by the way, are kind of complaining about this format, and a lot of young people are not tuning in.
He said that his ambition later in life is to moderate two political candidates debating one another. I 100% despise this idea with how the company is now. You platformed fascists and haven't even said anything about it. How do you think you have the credibility to then platform others? What? This is terrible. You have a terrible, terrible system. The fact that you want to also be mainstream with it scares me because it shows that your ideology and your flawed ideology about empathy is going to take the dominant narrative, which should not.
We are hopeful that in the future, like a Jubilee can host something like this, is because if you look at any of our content, this is featuring normal individuals, normal perspective, normal questions that I think we don't want to get through these talking points and get to what do you really believe? What are we actually talking about here?
You do not have the right thinking to do such a thing. You need to change before even thinking to do some political discourse, because how you are right now is completely a joke that does more harm than good because you promote dominant voices of hate.
But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like...
You are not a radical empathist. You are simply a passive, dominant puppet for the voices that are just going to keep hating on individuals. And shame on you for promoting that.
There's people with predatory behavior in every...
Excuse me,
we don't want it everywhere. We don't want it anywhere.
If I could say this, and you'll get mad at me, but if I could say this, it's not baked into their religion. There are 100...
To anybody who is an A-list political talker or someone who's good at just public debate, who genuinely wants constructive debate, do not go on Jubilee. Do not promote them. Do not promote a platform that has promoted a fascist when they titled it far right. Don't do that. That is not good. You will not get critical discussion. You will just help them get views and get monetized for content that they will profit off of.
You know, but I want to take this opportunity, because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again, to say, you're not American. First and foremost, you're not.
Remember when I said the
I'm
agitation
saying-
from you is not going to be
no,
lower?
What I'm saying,
you came
bro.
to lower the temperature
No,
and
I
then
know,
make
but
racist
listen,
remarks. You know that's a racist remark,
It's
right?
not racist.
There is no value in going on their platform. There is value on going to smaller creators who will give a opportunity for genuinely constructive criticism or genuinely constructive arguments. But Jubilee is not that. They are just content brain. And what you will be doing is helping them become bigger and bigger. Do a research. See their content before you get on them. Don't do it just to have something promoted. But please critically think before you go on their platform. And this is a cry to everybody who would want to be in their 20v1 debate style-esque things. Don't be a grifter who is just looking for money. Actually do something that helps humanity to actually have more critical thinking. Welcome to the end of the video. I really appreciate you watching this. I want to speak from the heart because this is the third video of the summer I've made, and I wanted to make 3 videos kind of talking about 3 different things I'm passionate about. It started with the education system in Ontario, and how that came to be was really because I wrote a philosophy paper in my 4th year course, and it went well, and I chose to make a video because I felt like I wanted to also include my anecdotal experience, and I think my personal experience really does matter, and I wanted to put it out there. And thank you so much for watching my videos. I really wanted to say thank you for 200 subscribers. There's probably not going to be any fancy animations just because I want to make this not too hard to edit, but also I just want to speak heart to heart and say thank you so much for 200 subscribers. Really, I know a lot of the times on YouTube you look at the numbers and you say like, oh my, this one person has 1 million or this one person has 1,000, but when you start to realize like every single person is an individual that subscribes to your content, it really does mean a lot, and I would greatly appreciate any person's support to help me grow, as it helps me really develop my creative vision that I have. And I have a lot of ideas, it's just money and a lot of time, a lot of energy goes into videos like this, and the more support I get, the more I can develop something that is really high in value, and production value, I mean, because the value is in the inside. Okay, corny outro, but thank you so much, and I can't wait to post more. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.